Hello and welcome to Funny Story Friday. Another week, another funny story for me to tell. This time, however, it's going to be a mix of funny and just epic, in my opinion, because it has its funny moments, but the story I'm thinking is more epic. So it's the campaign that I basically started with Maya and Connor. Maya wasn't available anymore. She was still in, I believe she was still in school. So she wasn't able to play as often. So I recruited Manny and Tanner, who had briefly played in not a one shot, but a one session campaign. Manny was hooked. Tanner was willing to try it. To make a long story short, in the first place, I think I've told this story, Connor and Maya had been sent to investigate a house full of devils. Or demons, I can't recall. And when they got there, Connor torched the building. He just fired firebolt after firebolt at it until it burned down. Monsters came out, they fought the monsters, they won. They get back to the town, and I think that's when Maya drops out. And I'm like, okay, I need more players. So I recruit Manny, who played with me in that brief. I've told the story where he played briefly, and Tanner, who I believe had never played, and this was his first time playing, and I had talked him into it. Now, to explain this story better, we didn't play over. We were playing over Skype when it was Maya and Connor, but then I think we continued playing in Skype, I believe. Because at this point, Miney, who was on the fence, he was interested, but he didn't want to play. So he was listening in. And I believe this was over Skype, because Connor doesn't have Xbox. So he's listening in over Skype, and they are tasked with, basically they go in the woods, they find a hag's hut, and the hag says, hey, the girl who's summoning the demons or devils, bring her to me and I'll give you some boons. And they're like, okay, yeah. They go back to the town. The captain of the guard is like, hey, bring me the woman summoning these demons and I'll pay you. And that's where the discourse becomes. I think they all wanted to trade it to the hag, but they knew that if they did that, the guard wouldn't be very happy. So they basically went to, I believe they left and came back. And when they left, the girl summoning the demons invaded the town. And if I recall, she took over a building and filled it with devils and demons. So it was Connor, Manny, and Tanner. We're like, okay, we're going to besiege this building, which at that point had been surrounded by the town guard. They were holding the demons at bay, but they weren't actually actively going inside. So they were like, hey, you're adventurers, you do it. So the party went in, they fought, I don't remember what they fought, something weak, because they weren't very high level. And Manny uses, what is it called? It's like Celestial Guardians. It's a cleric ability, the one with the little, I should have looked this up, my apologies. It's the one where you summon little sprites of, demons or fairies or angels, depending on which not background, which way you lean, whether you're evil, druidic, clerical, stuff like that. So he summons those, and they're mollywopping these demons and devils, and they capture the girl, the one who's been summoning them all. And before they leave, they know, like, well, if we take her out of here, they're going to see her, but we want to give her to the hag. So they're like, well, what should we do? So they opted. They went outside, and they were gonna. I don't think they were gonna try diplomacy. I think they tried to hide her, if I recall, but it didn't work. They didn't roll high enough. And the captain of the guard's like, "Great job. I'll be taking her now." Connor didn't want that. He wanted the boon from the hags. The other two wanted it too, but they weren't about to risk hurting innocent. Hurting innocent guards. So, if I recall, Connor tries to push them all away with a thunder wave. And it worked. It pushed a fair amount back. But the guard captain, if I recall, was a knight from the monster manual in the back. So he was a bit more hardy than the guards that they were used to. So it doesn't work on him. Fight breaks out. And then this is where the epic moment comes in. Tanner, at that point, had received, I believe it's the Cloak of Montbank, M-O-N-T-E Bank. I can't remember I don't know how to pronounce it in the first place, but that's what, if I recall, that's what he had. And it allowed him to Dimension Door, I believe. Like I said, this is all off memory. None of this was recorded, so I'm going completely off what's in here. But it was a cape that allowed him to teleport. So he grabs the girl, flips over the guard captain, and teleports to the edge of the woods and runs. Manny breaks free and runs. Connor breaks free and runs. They all escape. No harm. Well, they pissed off the guard, but they make it to the hag. The hag says good job, gives them their boon, gives them a bunch of magic items. I believe Connor got a potion that increased his constitution. This is all homebrew stuff that I was throwing out. I was like, wow, you guys, hey, you solved it. You did it in a way that didn't kill anybody. Yeah, you pissed him off, but you did it. Congratulations. And at that time, Miney had been listening in because he was on the fence. He was like, it seems kind of nerdy. Same thing I said. When my cousin approached me, I was like, seems kind of nerdy. I don't know if I'd want to do it. But after what Tanner did, Miney was like, yes, I want to play. Let's do this thing. That's what led to me making the Manakee and getting him interested in playing. And that's why I wanted to tell this story, because even if it's not too funny, it's an example of how people might not misconstrue, but might misunderstand D&D and think it's nerd stuff, which it is. Yes, there's a lot of dice, there's a lot of math, but it's fun. It is so much fun. And I think anybody if you're on the fence about playing D&D, you can go watch Critical Role. Don't think that all D&D is going to be Critical Role, but you get a feel for what you're going to do, how it's going to play, and you'll have fun. Unless I say that, but I know there's lots of circumstances where maybe the player and the DM you're playing with, not so fun. You might you might have a bad experience here and there, but you got to persevere. Eventually you'll find that group that clicks. You'll be like, this is perfect. I'm happy with this. And everything works out. So I guess my question for today in the comments is, excuse me. Have you ever tried to get somebody to play D&D and they were on the fence about it, or they just, like maybe you just told them like, yes, I'll do it, or maybe you told them like, no. Has there ever been a situation like that where eventually you won them over? And I guess that's my question of the day, and thanks for watching.